KJ's joining me now on the show. KJ, it was nerve-wracking, but we got the job done. Talk to me, bro.
It's a big win in terms of the Europa League standing. We in that automatic qualification place. Now let's see if we keep it at the end of the game week, because we've obviously got games kicking off right now to go through. So we'll see where we land, but hopefully we can win our next two games and land in that automatic spot, and which I think we will if we do win those two games. So big up the win. Big up Rasmus getting those two goals, very important. The second goal was brilliant, by the way. Brilliant ball from Bruno for the set piece. Great touch, great turn, and a brilliant finish. And like Ray said on the super chat, feed the boy, and he'll score goals. And we haven't done that enough over the last 2 seasons. Well, how many seasons? I haven't for one season. Well, last season we didn't do it enough.
18 months. 18 months. Yeah.
18. You haven't done it enough for him. So hopefully we can start doing that more. He can get more experience, and he can just become all we need is a consistent striker. We don't need him to be Haaland. We don't need him to be flipping the greatest thing the world's ever seen. We just need him to be a good to great Rasmus Højlund who's consistent in scoring goals. So big up to him. Big up to Amorim for one, sticking with his principles, because 2 losses on the bounce. He could have said, nah, screw this, like Ten Hag, and say, I'm changing it up just to get by. He stuck to his principles. He's a man of his word. He said that he's going to stick to this no matter what. We have to go through it. He said that there's going to be pain, and he said that we need time and we need to win games. And he's trying to fulfill that. And he obviously today did that by making subs. So big up to Amorim, and I'm glad he's our manager, and I'm happy with him. I'm happy with sticking with what he's doing. Now, with that out the way, Terry, I know you're on a positive hype. I am not on a positive hype in terms of overall smiling and happy, because I've said since Amorim come in, I'm looking at performance and where things can improve and what players are doing what, and what can we learn from these games. And what I'm learning, what we're seeing is, I think we've mentioned it before already, but half of this team is checked out. Half of this team are not prepared to go the extra mile and actually perform to the levels that they can. Now, I'm not saying they do it on purpose. I don't think it's a purpose thing, but I think subconsciously they think they're done. I think mentally they're done. Over the last, some of them have been here since Van Gaal, and you got some of them since they've been since Jose. So for the longest time, they've gone through this cycle over and over and over again. You get good, and then you become poor, and you have to work back up to getting good, and you become poor again. So they've gone through this cycle of always being good, being poor, changing managers, the inconsistency, not knowing if you're a good team or a bad team, winning a trophy here and there, but actually not challenging for the Premier League or the Champions League. So a lot of them have mentally probably gone through that and said, I've had enough mentally, just like, I can't do it no more. They're probably not, they're not trying to do it on purpose, but that's where they're at. So we need to change all of these, man. Most of these guys need to get changed because they've mentally gone through this cycle way too much. And I think it scarred them. Rashford, we'll talk about Rashford because I need to talk about him, because him being the player that I love, I need to chat about him. But Rashford, Dalot are 2 big examples of they've been through that cycle. Luke Shaw has been through the cycle of managers and players and all these different things. And Lindelof has been through it. Like, Maguire has been through it. So many of these players have been through it. So I understand why mentally they might be shot and they're tired and they can't do it anymore. So we need to get rid of these men. We need to get to a hard reset, Terry. And I believe we will. I believe in the 2-3 years, most of the squad you see today, you won't see it. And it'll be newer players. If there'll be better players, we'll see. But here's the thing. What I saw today is players who can't string 2 passes together. Players who are laboring to do the basics right. I heard you speaking on the Chelsea game about Chelsea's youngsters. And I know that the opposition is lesser. But you said they did the simple things right. They made the simple things look easy. We make the simple things look hard as a team and as a squad. And I know Amorim needs that time to work through that. But I think some of these players, they just, at Man United, they won't be able to do it. And we need to move them on.
Yeah, no, mate. I just want to say I agree, and this isn't about agendas because everyone knows that I was someone that was hopeful that Ruben would come in and Rashford would just. He looks every bit as dejected now as he has done in the last year or so, and I think some of it's on him. I think some of it's on the way the club has been run. Some of it will be on the level of not criticism he's had, but the level of nasty, dirty, vile abuse he's had even when he was doing well from certain Man United fans and certain sectors of the fan base. I think he's just, as you say, checked out.
Can I speak on him?
Yeah, well, yeah, go on.
Yeah, that's it. So Marcus Rashford for the longest time, in modern Man United years, has been my favorite player. The way that he plays, the way that he used to play when he was younger, I like that style. That's my favorite kind of winger, striker. You know what I mean? Pace, power, shooting, finishing, skills, techers. I love that.
It's what you are when you play.
I do play similarly, but more than that, he is a Man United academy product. Man United through and through. I know he loves the club. People question if he loves the club or not. I know he loves the club. So he's just someone I gravitate towards and I've loved since his debut. Wonderful story. But as time has gone on, he has seen the heights of being one of the best players in the club. He's seen the heights of winning trophies as a player for Man United. And he's just not been able to handle the consistency needed to become one of the best players in the world. And we as fans, half the fan base has not helped him in terms of the abuse, the vile nature of some of the things that people have been saying about him. And I have sympathy for that. That part, I sympathize with him. But the other half of the fan base, players, people like myself, have supported him through many, many hard times. But now it's got to a point where I'm looking at him, I'm like, bro, you've got to leave. And it will hurt. When I say it hurts me, it not hurts me as in like, man, you know, I disgrace for letting him go. But it's more of, I was so looking forward to him being a one club man, breaking as many records as he could, even breaking into the top 10 goal scorers at Man United, which is not an easy feat to do at all. If you look at the numbers of the players that they got, the goals that they've got in this club, of this legendary club, to break into top 10 goal scorers would be amazing. And I would have loved him to do that. But unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do that. I love Rashi, but it is time. It is time.
It is. I just want to say as well, to add on that, it is. And there'll be some people out there that will jump onto the, I always told you he weren't good enough. I don't think this is proof that he was never good enough for Manchester United. And I'm not even in a mind space where I want to even have that debate because I'm not interested in it. Because for everyone that I know, most people I know that always despise Rashford as a footballer, I'm not talking personal level here, were the same people that absolutely loved Diallo. Like, they fit into, not Diallo, Dalot. So I keep messing up on that name. And he hasn't gone on to a level I thought he would with a better head coach, as an example. So I'm not going to get into this point scoring game. I'm focusing on Manchester United. And you're right. Whether it's ability, mentality, or both, it doesn't matter. He has just got to simply go. It's as simple and it's as straightforward as that. And I think and it's not even about, you talk Anthony. Anthony is nowhere near as good as Rashford. But in fairness to Anthony, he came on, you could say he was trying. With Rashford, he just doesn't want to be out there in any capacity. I want to go to some of these comments here. First one, Josh here says, bring me Magic Mike, Diego Costa or Donnarumma. Donnarumma, by the way, has been looking awful recently to replace Onana.
Wait, Mike Maignan can never stay fit, for one. Diego Costa, he's got big mistakes in me as well. Remember the Euros, being World Cups, playing for Porto in the Champions League. We've been seeing that. And Donnarumma, listen, people only love him because he's got like an 89 rated card on FIFA, bro. If we actually look at him under the lights, it's looking a bit booky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I think we need to look at a new goalkeeper. None of those four, as it stands today, are at the top of my list, but I hear you. I want to go to a couple of comments here from Rachad, who says, Terry, what happened to the Dutch system you told us about? Now, what you're doing my friend, Mr. 13, is you're being very disingenuous. I spoke about the system that Ten Hag played before he came in. But when Ten Hag told us, go back and look at what I said, the day he told us that I'm not trying to implement it because I can't, was pretty much the day I said, well, you've got to go then. So again, talking nonsense. And then he also says, Terry, are you now saying Xerxes was bought for Ten Hag and not a system then? Yes, he was bought for, no, sorry. He was bought for this system. So one of the reasons why Dan Ashworth has been sacked, because he pushed for this player. Now, some go, yeah, but the talks were going on well before Dan Ashworth joined the club. You are naive and foolish if you think that Dan Ashworth for months wasn't working for Man United before he came in. It's just the way it works. So again, you're trying to catch me out here with weird things that are just never what I've said. And this here from Twisted Bubba, he says, Ruben's Amorim's stubbornness will contribute to his downfall. But this is where you're also wrong. Ruben hasn't been stubborn. If you go back to the previous European game, it wasn't working with Garnacho on the inside and Malacia doing the width. So he made a change where Delo inverted and then Garnacho was the width, and we improved. He has made subtle changes to, does a player invert or stay wide as an example. He has changed system in terms of formation in and out of possession in a couple of games so far. There's been no sign of stubbornness at this particular point, even when you look at the rotation of players and the testing. So your claim, Twisted, when you say he's stubborn, can you define where he's been stubborn for us, please? Knowing that he's made 26 changes so far and been doing an on-job preseason and has made changes to the system and shape during multiple games. So can you tell me where he's been stubborn to back up your claim, my friend? Because I think what you're doing here is just throwing out buzzwords and hoping some of them stick.